Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training. Sorry about that, guys. I lost you on the last one. My memory must be getting low on the phone, so it's cutting my time level down. That was a 10-minute video, and it cut me down. I usually get 17, 18, 20 minutes on these videos at least. So, all right, so back to our e-collar. So, the old collars, they were antiquated. You know, they were a dinosaur. It's like remember the phones? They were like huge bricks when they first came out with cell phones. And nowadays you got this little flip-flop. Well, the collars have done the same thing. When they started out, they were a huge old brick. And then you'd have to, if you wanted to change levels, you'd have to stop what you were doing, take the collar off of the dog, pull the plug out, change the plug. That's how you changed your levels. Totally not conducive to being able to stay in flow and to be working the animal. With these new rheostats, all you've got to do is just kind of go bump up. So if I was working Draco as an example, yesterday his level was about a 4, and I was going up to a 5 to make it a little bit more reaffirming to him that he needed to do what he needed to do. I want him to be more aware of me when I let go of the button. So I raised it up one more from a 4 to a 5 to making sure that he really understood that he was getting rid of that stimulation when he hit that. So you have the ability, though, when he's ready for it, you can go tap, tap instead of just constant, because it starts with constant and then let go of the button, right? When he succeeds with whatever the thing that you're trying to do with him. Going away, he'd turn around towards me, and right away I'd let go of the button. Then you go away and he's touching the table, that's when the button goes away. You're trying to convey the thought to the animal that he is the one that has the power to turn off that collar when he complies with something that you're asking him to do. And then as you go along, you increase your distractions and you increase what you expect of the animal, which means now I can bump it up a little bit. Doesn't mean I need to be abusive with it and I need to go and fry his ass. That's the problem. There's idiots out there using these collars that are giving it a bad name, and I'm guaranteeing you that every time something like this happens, those purely positive people are going to jump on it and they're going to try to make their case that it's so bad. But reality and truth, guys, it's the science of learning. Look up learning theory online on YouTube. Start studying classical and operant conditioning and understand what consequences are all about. And I can give you a lot of good examples of that. I go walk through the door. I'm a 6'2" guy, and I've got a low door. It's about a 5'7", 5'8". Not a normal door, but it's a low door. Whoever built that door built it a little low. And I walk through the door and I smack my head on the top of that door. How long are you going to think it's going to take me to get used to the fact that I need to bend and make sure I get up underneath that door? Not going to take more than one time smacking my head good on the top of that door, right? That's consequences in life. If a dog goes out in the wild, ends up running up on a porcupine, and the porcupine's got quills and he gets nailed by those quills, how long do you think it's going to take him to learn to stay the hell away from a porcupine? These are called single event learning. And it's a very standard thing in the science of learning theory. The whole thing with all animals on God's green earth. Did you know that you could click treat a goldfish? A jellyfish can be click treated, right? It's really an interesting thing that all the animals on God's green earth, including us, all learn the same way. Our wiring is very similar, right? So that is a very constant in our. Does that mean that I need to do that with everything? No. The purely positive folks and the positive associated attitudes have come in now, and we've now learned to start using food, toys, motivational ways. A trainer of today's age compared to back in the 70s when I first started, that's all we were doing was yanking, okay? Nowadays, I've got food to be able to use, and I use it all the time. I've got toys to be able to use. I got all kinds of motivational tools, and I will use that any day of the week to condition my animal to learn what he's doing. But there's a certain amount of things that I can use that old standard escape and avoidance training and the old standard of correcting dogs for behavior to do and clean up certain things. A dog jumps on me, I'll step on his paws. Put a knee in his chest. I still do that to this day. A dog's a counter surfer, gets up on the counter. I'll figure out something that gives him an immediate correction, right? The old days when I used to work for Canine Behavior Center, we used to use rolled up caps, you know, the old cap guns, right? We'd use a mouse trap and the cap gun. And we'd put the caps on top of the striker, so when the striker struck, it would make the caps go off and startle the dog. Instant correction, right? And you put that up on the counters. The counter dog started to try to counter surf, he'd run into those caps. How long do you think it was going to take him to learn? Not hard.